Happy day children, class 7 science, physics chapter 13 motion and time. In our daily life routine we usually see some objects at rest and others in motion like birds fly, fish swimming, planets moving around the earth, etc. So we can say they are all in motion. So when an object changes its position with the time, we often perceive an object to be in motion. Example, when the position of a car changes with time, we say that the car is moving or the car is in motion. So an object is said to be in motion if it changes its position with respect to time. Example, car moving on a road. An object is said to be at rest if the object does not change its position with time. Example, a person standing on the ground. We can see the units and their standardization. The standard unit of distance is in meter. The standard unit of time is in seconds, yes. The standard unit of speed is in meter per second. Next we will see the types of motion. The motion of all objects are not necessarily of the same type. So we can see the different types of motion. We have studied these types of motion in 6th standard class itself. Just we will see. Rectilinear or translatory motion. When a body is moving in a straight line without changing its direction, then the body is said to possess translatory or rectilinear motion. Example, a moving car on a straight road or the motion of a train on a straight bridge. Circular motion, the motion possessed by a body when it moves along a circular path is called circular motion. Example, motion of planets around the sun or motion of a child in a merry-go-round in a circle or motion of the earth around the sun in a circular orbit. Period or oscillatory motion. When the motion of a body repeats after a fixed intervals of time, then the body is said to be in periodic or oscillatory motion. That is to and fro motion of a simple pendulum. Next we will see, you can see in this picture the examples of motion. A person's motion, walking, a bicycle motion, how it's moving, a car motion and a train motion. Next we will see the slow and the fast motion. An object which takes a long time to cover a certain distance is known as slow, while the other object which takes shorter time to cover the same distance is known as fast. Example, if a school is at a distance of 5 km from our home and you want to go to school by bicycle, then it may take 25 to 30 minutes to reach the school. Or if you go to school by school bus, the same distance can be covered only in 10 minutes. So it means the bicycle takes longer time than the bus. Thus, the most convenient way to determine which of the two objects it's moving is to compare the distance moved by them in a unit time, which is known as the speed. So, the distance travelled by an object in unit time is called its speed. Types of speed. Depending on this, we can say uniform speed, non-uniform speed and average speed. When the object travels a fixed distance same time, it's said to have a uniform speed. Non-uniform speed. When an object covers different distance in different time gaps, it is said to have non-uniform speed. Average speed, the distance travelled by an object divided by the total time given by the object is called its average speed. So, speed is the total distance travelled by the object in a given interval of time. So, the speed, how we can able to calculate? Distance travelled by time taken. So, average speed is total distance by total time. If you want to calculate the distance, then speed into time. If you want to calculate the time, is distance by speed. So, the unit of speed is generally measured in meter per second or kilometer per hour. Next we will see the uniform and and non-uniform motion. In everyday life, we seldom find objects moving with a constant speed over long distance or for long durations of time. If the speed of an object moving along a straight line beats changing, its motion is said to be non-uniform motion. On the other hand, an object moving along a straight line with a constant speed is said to be in uniform motion. In this case, the average speed is the actual speed. When an object moving along the straight line moves with a constant speed, that we call it as uniform motion. Example, a car moving in a straight line with a constant speed. At the same time, non-uniform motion is object moving along a straight line changes its speed with respect to time. Then the object is said to be in non-uniform motion. For example, the motion of a train. Next we will see measuring time. A duration or moment in which things occur is called time. So with the help of clocks and watches, we generally measure time. There are many events in nature that repeat after a time interval. For example, morning, the rising of the sun; day and night, the time between the sunrise and the sunset; month, the time between two new moons; year, the time the earth takes to complete its one revolution around the sun. So, it is very difficult to think that how did people in ancient time measure times as they do not have clocks or watches? So ancient people use some natural events what we discuss now. So time measuring devices are clocks. So clocks use the concept of periodic motion to measure time. It means it uses motion that repeats itself in equal amounts of time. So there are different types of measuring devices like sundial, sand clock, quartz clock, etc. A sundial measures time by the position of the shadow cast by the sun. So the device which uses the flow of sand from one glass bulb to another in order to measure time, that we call it as sand clock. A device which uses the rate at which water drip from one vessel to another measure time interval, that we call it as water clock. Next we will see the simple pendulum and its working in the part 2 of the lesson video.